building was destroyed. So it's pretty rudimentary here. We have the sound mixing board, we have the computer, and this is how I'm going to interface with you on the radio show on the Spreaker Network, the Baltimore Spectator, a show that I've been doing on the internet for several years now. I did that concurrently with the show that I did with Larry, Celebrity Cab Driver, on terrestrial radio for 7 years. That was Taxi Talk. It was his show and I was his co-host. And then there's a phone ringing. We're going to take this live on air because it's Rob, and Rob is a good friend of ours. So we're going to keep the video rolling, and we're going to know to mute the phone next time. That's proper radio. Hey, Rob, how are you, man? Good, good. I forgot to turn off my ringer, so I'm actually live streaming video as we speak, and I'm about to start a radio show. The video's up now? Oh, yes, I retweeted that one. What about the one with Cummings? Okay. No, the pepper spray I retweeted. So yeah, I didn't see yours. I saw the ones that got out earlier, but then I saw your link, so I retweeted, but I haven't viewed it yet. Folks, what I'm talking about with Rob, who is Rousseauus on Twitter, is a video that he has, which I'm sure is probably a little bit better than some of the other stuff out there, because that's the quality of work that Rob does. And it shows this man who was resisting, nonviolent resisting. I mean, that's what protest is all about ever since the civil rights era. And he was violently taken down by the police department. Rob, let me put you on speaker just for a second so you can help talk about this. 1 second.
We went from a block party where people were celebrating, which ended at about 9:30, and people were in a good mood. And the curfew, which Mayor Stephanie Rollins Blake was pretty much forced to take down about 1 hour ago. It's no more. But 7 people got arrested last night, and this one person was objecting to the curfew, and he walked up to the police 15 minutes after the curfew, and he was impaired, and he wasn't a threat. He was standing there, and he was doing his civil disobedience.
He was trying to make a point, basically.
Yeah, yeah, and they walked up to him with one of those pepper spray canisters that shoot like a half a block long.
Yeah, that's let me explain to the folks. That pepper spray, that's the large one. Actually, initially that was designed for bears in the wilderness. And when it was adapted to civilian use, so to speak, or non-animal use, human use, it was made to quell large crowds, prison riots, or something. It was never intended. That is the pepper spray equivalent of pointing a rocket launcher at a single human being and taking him out with it.
Yeah, I was in the press then, and it was just shocking. The press were absolutely shocked that they doused this person directly point blank right in the face.
Which you're also not supposed to do according to training. You spray pepper spray, like towards the chest or something like that. The fumes, everything is usually enough. Rob, we're gonna keep it moving here, but I'll tell you one thing I was really impressed with about the young man is he didn't go down from the spray at all. He stood his ground.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you this: he did pass out.
Eventually.
There was so much chemical that hit him. He wound up passing out.
Wow.
And they hog-tied him and dragged his face across
It's okay.
the street. So he was bloodied in the face, on one side of his face.
They dragged him across the street. And your video shows all this, Rob?
Yes.
Okay, great. Give the people your information so they can go look at this video and save it and store it and whatever. And you and I will definitely be talking off the air. But go ahead, give the people your information, Rob.
But I work with Global Web Live. I work with React Radio. But if you search on Twitter, Harris from the Post, you'll find my Twitter feed, and it's only a few posts down.
There you go, folks. Harris from the Post. Good friend of mine, a Maryland native, has covered a lot of actions in Baltimore over the years. We've worked side by side. He's literally had my back at times when my back needed to be watched, quite frankly. And good guy, one of our partner truth tellers, doing this independent media thing and bringing you news and views not commonly heard. Hey, thanks a lot, Rob.
Okay, we'll be out there with you tonight.
All right, yes, sir. Thank you. Okay, so there you go. That's what happens when you do live radio. We haven't even begun the radio broadcast. We have any viewers on there?
17 viewers.
Oh, right. Hey, 17 viewers. Thank you. We haven't even begun the live broadcast, but we got a call, and that was a good one. That was one of those good, useful interruptions. We're going to put this phone on silent here, and so that we can begin the radio portion. So we're going to be simulcasting this because some of you follow me everywhere I go, some of you don't. We have a lot of Spreaker subscribers, a couple thousand, who may not necessarily be watching the live stream. And then for the record, that it will be archived in more than one place. But you're getting, this is a behind the scenes pre-show thing. The man holding the camera is Edmund. You'll see his handsome face in a little while when I'll take the camera, and we're gonna flip the script on him. But we're gonna start the radio show in earnest. I didn't say it because we got interrupted, but yeah, of course by now most of you know the curfew has been lifted. Now it's interesting that they lifted it in the morning. All of that is purposeful and orchestrated. You could have lifted it at night saying, hey, we don't have to go home tonight. But they didn't want to do that, and they have their reasons why. I know some of you would like to be devil's advocate, but I remind you, when you do that, you're arguing for the devil, and he doesn't need your help. So quit being devil's advocate. The whole thing was wrong, and we all know that. Let's begin our show, Edwin. And you gotta excuse me, my nose is running a little bit. You're gonna see me doing weird things. This is gross, man. This is radio. But we're just letting you in. No one ever sees my studio B here. We never let people in. That's why it's radio. I can pick my nose. I can do all kinds of stuff, and you don't get to see it. But we're gonna keep the tape rolling for this, even during our musical breaks. While the music is playing for the radio listeners, Ed and I are going to talk about various things. So this will be a multi-layered cast here, which is unique. Never done it this way. Okay. Thank you for the retweets, everyone. I see them going on. And we're going to start with the audio broadcast, which you won't hear the audio on that stream. I'm hearing it in my cans here. And let's see here. I have to go to this screen here. Bear with me. Preload that song. Test my audio for this broadcast there. Testing 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Okay, that level's good. 3 2 1. And I'm testing for sound. Okay, that's good. Testing. Okay, that's even better. And we're stopping that song. Reset it. It's all the behind the scenes stuff, folks. Okay, I have to get close to this mic. And we're gonna go live to the show in 3. Wait, let's start that over. 3, 2, 1. We press that button. Let's see how quickly the server responds. We're sending a signal up to the server. The server is sending it out to the internet and back to you. So it takes a few moments, but we're gonna be on air here in just a few moments. And we'll be doing something live there. Have to do this again. We haven't been getting a lot of sleep. We haven't been eating a lot. We've been working our tails off being out there for you, bringing you this radio program. I probably look like hell because I feel like hell and because I've been in hell. Hell is what Baltimore has become over the last few weeks because of what? Because of police officers killing an innocent man. Let's put the blame where it is. Everything else that happened because the police killed an innocent man. We will never lose sight of what started it all. I don't want to focus on, oh, what was CBS burned and this and that. The police burnt our community. They burnt Freddie Gray, period. Let's keep the blame where it is. We're not excusing anything else that happened that shouldn't have happened, but we're keeping the focus. They killed someone, and they were trying to get away with it, and now we have a police union trying to excuse their behavior, the FOP, Fraternal Order of Police. And you have to think about what fraternal means. The server is moving slowly, so I'm waiting for this thing to come on. We're on. Hey, good afternoon, folks. This is James MacArthur coming to you with a special broadcast. Of course, the name of our program is the Baltimore Spectator, which is also being simulcast on video. Some people get to see me work in the studio behind the scenes, live in Studio B in North Baltimore, bringing you this show, the Baltimore Spectator. But we started doing some video live streaming last night, Edwin and I out and about, And I decided today, well, let's do some video streaming for this show. So there will be two ways to follow, to look at this program for those of you who are not catching it live, just to enjoy this program. You will have the audio on Spreaker, and those of you on the live stream, you get to watch the video. But today I wanted to come on air just for the record's sake. Normally I have a notepad here with a show breakdown, an outline, a storyboard, and all that stuff. We're going to be winging it, sharing some of our recollections, our thoughts and our comments on things that come up. There is a chat feature which you can see on there and talk with people. As a matter of fact, let me get the camera for a little while and see what's going on there. And there he is, folks. There he is. That's the man behind the camera. That's Edwin Torres, who has been by my side throughout this whole thing. There he goes. He's breaking stuff in the studio. He's putting his massive frame on my little table here, and he's breaking stuff. But this man has been bringing you a lot of the images, the fantastic images. His best image, which he deserves an award for so far. Well, maybe not the best because there's so many good ones, but the most awesome one is the press pen. And you know what goes in pens? Animals go in pens, like sheep. And you've seen that image. It's gone viral. Okay, in the chat room we have folks saying good morning to you, Cleo, yeah, the guy was strong who stood up to being pepper sprayed. And Sai says she saw him dragged and water poured to Claire's eyes. The pain was evident. So I'm going to flip this. Davy D33. Is that the Davy D or another Davy D? Doesn't matter. But I'm going to, there's Edwin looking weird in the camera, just sitting there. Inanimate. He's on camera, but he's just sitting there like a statue, ladies and gentlemen, like a statue. So anyways, we're going to flip this back around. We got the chat up. What you do, Edwin, if you don't want the chat, is you just hit the regular back button, and it'll take it away. And you hit the little chat bubble, and it'll bring it back up. But you'll see what it looks like, because but there's the chat.
Got it.
See that? You can keep that up if you want. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Free at Last is the title of today's program. Now the work begins. And free at last has a question mark. Are we free at last? How free were we before this even began? How free are we if this freedom that we think we have can be so easily taken away and kept away for so long? That is what I'm talking about. That's what I want you to chime in on in the chat. And because Edwin is holding the camera and he can see the chat, he will share some of your comments with us here. And the rest of you who are not following the live stream can do it via Twitter, and we'll respond to it as many as we're able to, because I think this is a very important question to talk about in 2015. How free are we in these United States of America if freedom can be taken away so easily, so quickly? A handful of people in a city of 650,000, a handful of people doing some wrong actions, some bad actions, so to speak, caused the punishment of a whole city. That's not right. The police don't want to be judged, they say, when a few of them do wrong. Don't judge us all like that. Well, don't judge a whole city by the actions of a few, but that's exactly what happened. We're going to start the show in earnest for those of you just tuning in. I'm doing some behind-the-scenes stuff on camera with Edwin J. Torres holding the camera, but we're going to begin the show in, let's see here, 3, 2, 1. So we got music playing, intro song, it's Matchbox 20. Let's see how far we've come. I need my glasses. I can't see. I need my glasses. I can't. So we hear the theme song of today's show playing. Like I said, let's see how far we come. I think this is a very important question to answer. We can't just say, well, curfew's over, good, life goes on, and move forward. We have to address all of the issues that got us to where we were, where we just came from. The police misconduct issues, the poverty and social injustice issues that's been plaguing Baltimore for so long. Where is it coming from? I'm hearing it.
Does it ring?
No, I'm hearing music outside of my cans, like it's coming through somewhere. Maybe I'm not.
No.
Okay. But we have all these issues to deal with in Baltimore. Hard work. We're going to be looking for people who are ready to do hard work. My Twitter name is now General MacArthur. I'm the general. I'm one of the several. And we need help to continue to fight here in Baltimore. Going to read a couple things that people have shared with me as soon as the radio show comes back. It's almost there. There's funny comments.
Greetings from Sykesville, endless gratitude and respect for all your coverage this week. From Inferno.
All right, we're back. You heard the song, Let's See How Far We've Come. How far have we come in 2015, man? How far have we come on May 3rd, 2015, that we had to take to the streets? First, looking for justice, which we still don't have yet. We've taken a step in that direction of justice, but they haven't been formally indicted yet. They've been charged. You know how our legal system moves very slow, which is supposed to be to protect the innocent, which is what Freddie Gray deserved, you know, the due process. If you're accused of committing a crime, but it never got that way because the police acted as judge, jury, executioner for a crime that never happened, but nonetheless, the officers involved are being afforded this right that we all have as Americans, the right to due process. So there's many steps left in this road to justice that we're all seeking. But how far have we come when an issue starts with injustice being meted out by the police, and then further injustice is brought to a whole community with this illegal, unconstitutional curfew that we had to demand day after day that it comes to an end. Harris from the Post, who we were talking to, he has video of me interviewing Congressman Elijah Cummings. He's been up all night editing tons of video because he takes a lot. And you will see it, and I asked him directly about this curfew. I fell short of coming out and pulling the Ronald Reagan on him and saying, Mr. Cummings, tear down this curfew. But no, we really pressed him on it. We didn't just let him and give him a softball question or two and let him slide on it. And Pete Santilli asked Kathy Pugh directly about it, and she did say on his live stream last night that the curfew will end tomorrow, which is today. You remember that, Edwin?
Yep.
She absolutely said that. And doing our own investigations, we saw all sorts of signs that the curfew was going to come to an end. They were strategic. They didn't want to tell people at 10 o'clock, hey, you can stay out, you don't have to go home, because they're a bunch of, I got to watch myself. They could have done that and let the partying and the celebration continue. But instead, they herded everyone at home, like they herded the press until Penn. And then this morning, guess what? Curfew's lifted. They didn't want to go into another week of this madness, Edwin. A new week starting Monday, a new work week of undocumented workers not being able to go to work again. A whole mall, lots of stores, the Target and all this stuff. They didn't want to go into another week of these National Guardsmen being away from their families. It's almost like they're on deployment into a war zone. the amount of expenses that it's involved, the city being under siege, all that. The mayor, somehow, some way, she started to realize how much of a jackass she was looking like. And I say jackass because the symbol of the Democrat Party is a donkey, and believe me, they were showing their ass this week. It's that simple. There's no other way for me to put it. In the chat room, we have Susan saying, I'm listening. Don't know if that makes you cringe or smile, but I'm here. Well, I'm smiling for the camera. Damn right. Why was no one protesting the state of emergency and curfew? We were. I don't know how much the media covered it, Susan. You weren't there, so you were only privy to what got out. But the protest, a large part of it, every night became the curfew defiers who stood around till curfew time and stood some more until they were forced back, pushed back, sprayed, regularly chased down. We were protesting it. It was a different group. I don't know how the media depicted it because I was on the ground there, so I haven't looked yet. There is a lot of review that will have to take place of this. The media's role in it, when they helped, when they hurt. The police was rolling it. Not all police were being dickheads out there. I gotta excuse the language this morning, but I'm keeping it real and raw with you. There were many officers we met that treated us like human beings and were reasonable with us. You agree with that, Edmund?
Completely.
You can talk, cameraman. Give me that. Okay, so Edmund is agreeing that we don't have a separate mic for him. I should. You know what? We can do that. Folks, we're going to go to a musical break. And we're going to get Edwin his own mic so that the radio people can hear him because we have another mic. It's in the bag. This is Studio B. He's sitting on the lovely couch over there. It's a futon. And we normally don't have guests in here. So bear with me as we go to a break. And Edwin is going to hold the camera when I get him a mic. And we'll talk about some of the officers that acted like human beings during this. This is one of several shows we'll do, an after-action kind of debriefing, looking back. This one was impromptu. We woke up just a short while ago after only sleeping for a few hours, and we just want to, there's a few things we want to get off our chest and share with you, and then we'll close this out. Lots of writing is going to be done, video editing, photo editing. You haven't even seen a tenth of the material we've gathered from this and the notes that were taken. So stay tuned. Don't leave us now just because this is over, rest of America. Pay attention to what we're doing here in Baltimore and the story, the real story that hasn't yet been told. Trust me, Don Lemon didn't tell the real story, neither did Geraldo Rivera. Trust me. So I need you guys to stick around and be our continued partners in getting the truth out and the word out so that we can actually fix this thing. And pay close attention to what happens to people like me as the national media goes away and the local police, some of them, try to retaliate and have vendettas against people like me because we work tirelessly to expose them. So let me get something queued up here, and we're going to play a quick song, and we're going to get a mic so Edwin can talk on radio. And we're about to play a classic song, Express Yourself, by Charles Wright. Be right back, folks. Stick around. This is James MacArthur. You're listening to The Baltimore Spectator. Look, we have to wear goggles everywhere because they were gassing us in American streets, the bastards. The commanders in charge of that, they got to go. Just like the Nazi war crimes, some people are going to go on trial for this. Mark my words. We do have lawsuits being drafted, and we need more, as many as possible. We want to hit them from all angles. There'll be so many facing them, they'll be forced to deal with some of us. Unpacking my war bag here. The damn bastards put our city under siege and started a war. Look at this. This is how we have to go out sometimes. Let me explain something to Don Lemon and CNN. See this? 5 simple letters. This is the only credential I need. I don't even need this. This is media, this is press that we're doing right now. Where'd my mic go? Uh-oh. Wait a minute. I carry around this mic.
Nice. Great. Fuck Don Lemon.
There's an adapter that we need for this mic to plug it in here, and it's not in there. I'm gonna have to play another song. Well, how much minutes? We got 2 minutes. Okay, Edwin, talk to the people. I have to go in the other room and find an adapter.
Okay. Sounds great.
So you talk to the folks. Folks, we'll be right back.
Hey everybody, how's it going? So there you have it. Reporting live from Studio B at MacArthur's Place. You know, we're experiencing a lot these past few days. It's been an interesting process working alongside with the local storyteller and journalist, seeing it from the man on the street perspective. I came all the way from the Bronx to tell this story because of what happened in New York City with Eric Gardner. You know, I felt I was personally motivated to come down here and truly understand for myself what the people of Baltimore were going through. So, working together has been an amazing experience. All right, how we doing on? Did you find the adapter?
Testing, testing, testing. We have nothing. We have nothing, nothing, nothing. Why is there no sound? Test, test, test. Test, test, test. Test, test, test. There we go. We got sound. Testing. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. We got sound for Edwin. Edwin, talk.
It's working. It's working. Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Okay. Okay. So we're not on there. We're on here, but we're gonna go back. Break is almost over, but you can't hear anything. I need some monitors for you too. Go ahead, on it.
That's fine. I don't.
No, you're gonna need them. Trust me. It's confusing.
Okay.
Okay, folks, we're back. Bear with me. We're gonna play another song real quick because we're setting up a mic for Edwin. Edwin, say hello. I need to sound check you. We're live on air.
Hello, everybody. How you doing?
There's Edwin. He's holding the camera for those of you watching on the live stream. Gonna play another quick song. Hey, this is live radio. Live radio when you're not in a multi-million-dollar studio like Don Lemon and the rest of them, right? He thought City Hall and the sidewalks in front of it was his studio. He thought he owned that thing. Right? We're gonna play another quick song so I can mute this. So I can plug in Edwin's headphones and we can keep going with this. So the song I'm going to play. Every song we do is something that's somehow making a point or a statement or dedicated to people. So let's see here. Here is a short one. Yeah, this one's good. And go. This plan may not work, by the way. This may fail. This may crash and burn. But I want you to have some headphones. I want you to be able to hear what's going on. You'll sound less weird to the people at home.
Okay.
I put in a short song because I thought I had a plug right there. Oh well, can't find it. No headphones for Edwin. But
That's okay. I'll just sound weird to the people,
the show
like I normally
goes
do.
on. Oh, look at that.
Raul Duke commented, "Love it. These two are dedicated to the cause."
The song is over, and we're not going out. Okay. Let's see here. We gotta unclick this and go. Okay, hey, we're back. Oh, sorry about that. I know it's a little awkward that we're, but it's a live program. You're seeing behind the scenes over here, and this is what's going on. But Edwin has a mic. Say something.
Hello.
There you go. So I'm gonna turn and face him. Where were we before I tried to get you on the mic? Something I was
I
asking.
think you were asking me something about police officers being good people.
We met some, very few, honestly, that were nice. Some
Yeah.
were neutral, indifferent, and a lot were mean and nasty. But I'll let you talk.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have to understand that some of these people are just working their 9-to-5 jobs, trying to put food on the table for their family. They come from different perspectives and different backgrounds, and some of them are at the bottom of the totem pole. They're being told what to do by higher ups who whatever their opinions or decisions are out of their hands. I personally saw a police officer of color on North and Penn speaking to the community. She was surrounded by a group of 12 to 15 protesters from within West Baltimore, and she was consoling them, and she was expressing her perspective and how she felt about the entire situation. And it was really amazing to see her speak with them. The people were, motivated and inspired by her presence. They were like, "It's amazing that you're a police officer. We're so glad you're here." There was a lot of love.
They said it's amazing. So you see, that means it's not what they're used to. That means that was unusual. That means that was the exception to their experience.
Yeah, no, most certainly, definitely. But then at the same time, we also have a lot of interactions with police officers who weren't so nice.
Tell us about some of that.
Well, let's see. The entire event. I'm trying to think of something.
Okay, here, take the camera back.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Edwin is getting nervous. You guys are making him nervous out there. We got a few more people viewing now, I think. I want to read what my friend Matt Boshi said here in a message to me. And this is a message he has to the community organizers. And some of you are here on the ground, and some of you are virtual organizers. But in this day and age, social media, that's very important too. Believe me, you can do a lot to help a movement without ever leaving your desk, your seat in your home, your phone. You can pull together coalitions. You can give useful information. You can give us intel like we do. So don't feel that because you're not on the ground, you can't be part of something. So anyways, Matt Voce says to community organizers, if you need some funding, now may be a good time to ask from organizations that want to end the school to prison pipeline. Remember those two young men we met in Gilmore Homes yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
The way the system is set up, because they're in the projects, low income, there is a great chance of them ending up, instead of going to school and finishing and graduating or whatever, in prison.
Mm-hmm.
Just statistically. And you saw those two young guys. We talked to them. We aired it on a podcast. They just want to be able to get back to living normally. They're not thugs, but the situation that people are forced to live in this country oftentimes creates situations that creates thugs. It creates community when their community has been destroyed. Gangs are nothing but communities of mutual support. People that are in something together and they feel they're in a struggle together, they get together for protection, for self-affirmation, and all these things that human beings look for. So Matt says, if you need funding now, may be a good time to ask from organizations that want to end the school to prison pipeline, improve health and educational outcomes, and achieve a just society. Michelle Alexander was spot on when she said in Baltimore, she was here, that funding for community organizing was a must. And there's 4 pillars of successful communities. One is safe neighborhoods with safe housing to live in. Baltimore remains a very dangerous place. I believe part of why it's dangerous is very deep, it's very complicated, but part of it is because, quite frankly, when there's crime and stuff going on in certain neighborhoods, the police don't really care. They put forth less than best effort in dealing with it and resolving it, so the response is low. Ed Norris, former police commissioner, has said that he's heard people, well-to-do people in our city, say, why are you so concerned about bringing down the murder rate when he was police commissioner? It's just them killing them. So that's a real attitude. It's just them killing them. When you have officers who don't live in the city, who aren't from here, who have only been on the force for a few years, and they're the ones responsible for keeping this community safe, they can feel that way too. It's just them killing them. They're not part of this community, so they're not invested. They're not vested in seeing a crime rate brought down. Listen, I will be the first one to tell you, police are not the solution to the crime rate per se. They are part of it. And it's a multifaceted approach that's needed, but when you have any part of it that's less than fully vested, you have a problem. When you have people, and these weren't police officers, these were movers and shakers in this town, but that was the attitude. It's just them killing them. And no wonder. So back to this, the 4 pillars of successful communities: safe neighborhoods with housing that's safe to live in. We have to create safe spaces, and we don't right now. We have attitudes. We have several hundred riot cops standing there while the store was being looted. Several hundred of them. Why didn't they just march over there banging their shields like we saw them doing, heavily armed, and tell the looters to beat it? What, they were afraid? What are you afraid of? You geared up, you took a job, you took an oath, and you're afraid? No, it wasn't fear. I mean, they may have some fear, but it wasn't fear that kept them. It was somebody making a decision, a determination. It's just them destroying them, their store, their neighborhood. Let them do it. We see over and over again where the police can act, to prevent things, where they can take action to stop criminality, they don't. And if I'm not mistaken, it was Plato who said that he who has the opportunity to prevent a crime and doesn't commits a crime himself. It's that simple. The Mondawmin, the Battle of Mondawmin, same thing. When an agitator or two within the group threw a rock, the police could have snatched that kid up, arrested him, taken him away, and allowed the rest of the students who wanted to peacefully demonstrate with their walkout and whatever to continue on their way. But instead, they formed battle lines against the kids. And if you go and you watch, you Google the story, the Battle of Mondawmin, I don't have the URL, it's at the Baltimore Eclipse, a blog that I'm affiliated with, you will see those kids, they outflanked and outnumbered the cops. That's his own words. They won that battle. Kids against these police. The police were way better armed, but the tactics were off, and they didn't want to prevent and de-escalate. They wanted to fight them, and then they lost. The 4 pillars: safe neighborhoods with safe housing to live in. 2, solid public schools in the neighborhood. We have kids going crisscrossing the city and whatever, and that's problematic for so many reasons. Most people don't like commuting. Commuting adds stress. People like to be able to live and work, in the same place if possible. We definitely need to provide that for children. Children need to be able to be in a school where they live, a good school where they live. 3, access to healthy food, physical activity, and health care. In those neighborhoods in Gilmore Homes, there isn't a lot of food choices at all. How many stores did you see when we were in there?
Like none. Zero.
None.
The one that was there was burned.
There was a burned store, and it was burned beforehand, by the way. And it was a small, tiny corner. There aren't a lot of food choices in those neighborhoods, and there hasn't been. And 4, access to livable wage jobs for the adults in the community. According to Matt Voce, these are human rights. And this is what we need to continue to fight for in Baltimore City. Let me do some housekeeping here, see where we are in this program. We're 29 minutes in. Let me check here. Susan says SOFA activism, SOFActivism. People who can coordinate and help with the cause, spread the word, amplify voices by retweeting and sharing links on Facebook and elsewhere. So that's a word she coined for you. SOFActivism, SOFActivism. You can do work right from home. And she says, may I say this here? I really feel that if there was no police presence at Mondawmin Mall on Monday, that none of this would have happened. This is what Susan says. This is what I've been saying. What do you think, Edwin?
What's that?
Susan says she really thinks if there were no police present on that Monday at Mondawmin Mall, where it all started, none of it would have happened.
Oh, yeah, completely, because you have a sensitive situation where you're blocking off transportation routes home, and you're having a heavy police presence. Kids are frustrated. It's creating a system of oppression that we've seen all too often.
I mean, you needed some police presence. I know that's what you meant, but it was the heavy presence, the riot-geared cops, all of that. If the cops came and just, we're here, not stop the bus, not do all that, but just respond, those kids would have kept it moving.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, that you're a kid. What happens when the cops come? You leave, don't you?
Right.
That's what Freddie Gray wanted to do. He wasn't even breaking the law, but he saw 4 cops and he just left. Oh, the cops, let me try to leave.
Right.
So we know this. We know how young people respond to the presence of police when police respond somewhere. They get the heck out of there. But these police came to pick a fight, and the young people responded the way most young people respond. They're stubborn, they're obstinate, and they want to be respected like any other human being. We cannot forget the point that the police played a major role in instigating these hostilities, period. If you don't understand that, I'm not going to break it all down for you in this program. We're going to put together some resource pages on the internet with various links. They'll be broken down by introductory, statements and whatever. If you want to learn more about this, see these links. For some images covering this aspect of it, CDs and whatever. We'll be working on that in these coming weeks. It's going to take a long time. There's so many aspects to highlight about this, but I'm glad so many of you are listening. Somebody said they saw the title and they tuned in and they heard a song playing, they expressed themselves, they were expecting a speech. No, this is not a free at last speech. It's a question. Are we free at last? And this is just an impromptu show that we put together. Look, my dad, the judge, that's his nickname, the judge. That's a long story. he actually had a job for a little while as a judge. He won't tell you that. He has some good food waiting for us, and we haven't eaten, so we're going to leave soon to eat. But we wanted to start this off in response to the curfew being lifted and talk a little bit. We saw, when we were doing some reconnaissance last night, about 100 Pennsylvania state troopers, or some agency, I'm pretty sure it was Pennsylvania, but about 100 of them filing out of town.
Correct. Car after car.
I mean, with the Baltimore police escorts, but they were clearly leaving.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just leaving, and we knew, although the decision wasn't made, we knew that it was drawing down. We knew that the decision was already spread to their troops, their forces. It wasn't made publicly. We could sense it. We started reconning other areas, and we saw the demeanor in the National Guardsmen and others. They already knew that this has come to an end. They were literally on guard post, sleeping. And I don't mean nodding off. I mean in a sleeping bag on a cot saying, there's no danger out here. We're not at risk. If you're holding a position, a post, a guard, and you think there's all this danger, which was overhyped, overplayed by the police, and a lot of media helped with it. They kept saying, this is an emergency curfew. There was no emergency. You had National Guardsmen in their sleeping bags, sleeping on post. What kind of emergency is that? If you think your life is in that much danger, you're going to sleep in the face of the enemy? When I joined the Marine Corps and I went to boot camp, that's not how I was trained. So I know better. They knew themselves from their own personal risk threat assessment that every soldier will do, looking around at your environment, using intelligence and whatever. There's no danger here. This is just a regular urban neighborhood, and nobody is out here looking to target us, unlike that lie that was planted. The gang members have gotten together and they're planning to target and take out. We saw an officer.
Such a ridiculous lie.
We saw an officer in East Baltimore, solo in his car,
Mm-hmm.
head down doing some paperwork. Remember that? That was a poignant scene.
Yeah, this was right last night.
Because up until that point, everywhere we saw them, there were 3, 4 of them together in a car. They looked like they were ready for war.
Exactly.
But at that point, we saw this officer just looking like a regular police officer, no riot gear. He had just probably responded to a routine call, and it was business as usual. We knew when we saw these things, it was over. It was over. And they were cutting the crap. And they were done telling us that, there's an emergency, we're all in danger, the world is coming to an end, I mean, this is what they were doing, man. This was some nonsense. Gotta catch up on some of your tweets here. Let's see what we have to respond to in the Twitter, and then I'm gonna hold the camera and I'm gonna look at some of your chat. And we're only gonna do this for a little bit more because we're just talking. We just have to express ourselves right now a little bit behind the scenes when we're not confined to the short podcast because we have to drive to the next spot, the quick tweet because we have to keep our eyes open and take pictures. This is just Edwin and I just talking, just reflecting on stuff. But some of the other shows in the future will be a little bit more structured. We're going to look at certain aspects of this and dissect it and break it down. I'm going to have the notes in front of me. I'm going to have more specific details, times, and such. And stay tuned. I want you guys to all be part of this, and I want your input and your feedback, the two-way social media interaction, not just me. Hi, this is James MacArthur bringing you the Baltimore Spectator, and all you're going to do is shut up and listen. No, I want to hear from you. I want to see your chat. I want your feedback. I want you to send me emails of things you think about.
even when we're not on air. The email is macarthurmedia@gmail.com. Send me the tweets, send me the chat. Get in touch with me any way, shape, or form you can so that we can interact on this together. But let's look at Twitter here. And thank you for retweeting there, Raul Duke. Raul Duke has been a big supporter of us during this whole thing. He's on there too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's see here. Okay, we have some people suggesting that. Let's see here. Here it is. So what's the problem here? Guy breaks the law, gets arrested. No, the problem is the police were breaking the law by being part of an unlawful action, which is a curfew, which is a violation of constitutional rights. So let's start with that. Talking about the guy who got pepper sprayed. We're back to the devil's advocate. Well, he was breaking the law. He deserved to be arrested. No. Do you know in the military that the excuse "I was just following orders" is not enough to escape criminal charges if it's an immoral order? This has been determined by the War Crimes Court. If your commander asks you to take action that is downright wrong and immoral, you take the action, you kill innocent people or something like that, you will be personally held liable, criminally liable, and so will he. So the police were following this unethical, illegal order. But it starts at the top. We're really more concerned with the ones at the top who even issued this. So for those of you continuing this nonsensical mantra of if you break the law, expect to be arrested and all that, then the cops should be expecting to be arrested too because they were breaking the law. The supreme law of the land is the United States Constitution. No executive order from no mayor, even a president, can supersede the Constitution of the United States. And those of you who don't know that, I suggest you start reading and studying it. There are free courses. The college that I studied at, Hillsdale College, has a whole course on understanding the Constitution. The lectures are on YouTube. You can watch them a little bit at a time instead of watching the nonsensical, stupid Kardashians and all this other stupid stuff you watch on TV. Learn about your government. Learn about American studies like Mr. Edwin, who majored in that. Seriously. Learn about this so that you're not so easily ready to just give up your freedoms that people died for so that you can have it. This is crazy. Oh, I see the time. We got to get you to the train station, don't we?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So Edwin has to go to the train station. I'm going to read one more tweet, and we're going to go away for now. We will respond to some of these. You know I'm very interactive on Twitter, and the nonsense, we got something for your nonsense too. But we're going to wrap this up. Edwin is from Bronx, New York. He came down here just to help tell this story the right way, to be one of the many voices. Before I sign off, of course, Cassandra was awesome. She came up here on the day of the Battle of Mondawmin. She joined me side by side. We were in grave danger. We literally found ourselves in between police with heavy weapons. That's the first time they showed up, by the way. And how did they get there suddenly? All along, you had regular-looking police. First, the Baltimore police are on scene in riot gear. Then all of a sudden, police from other counties, SWAT teams, all that was right there at Mondawmin too.
Mm-hmm.
They set this up. They were already on the ground in town, and there had been no riots. Guys from PG County, 45 minutes away on the border with D.C., were already here, even though there had been no riots. You see what's going on, folks? There's more to this. So Cassandra, she was here. Stax flew in, the live stream. Revolutionary Z, Harris from the Post. There's so many. I'll be thanking them later. I'll be writing them. I can't remember all this stuff. I have very little sleep. We're hungry. We got to rush to the train station. But that's what's going on. We're going to find a song to go out with. I thank all of you for being part of this, and let's party tonight, okay? Seriously, let's party. We should be partying now. Even in church, there should be a party, a holy party, a joyous party, because we got this heavy lead anchor released from around our necks. They were strangling us with that curfew. I'm telling you, you cannot do that to a free people who are used to freedom. Maybe in the old Russia, Soviet Union or something like that, but you can't do that here. And the guilty will pay. The guilty shall pay. Mark my words, I will be a part of that, and I hope some of you will join me in making sure that they'll pay. Real quick in the chat room. We got to hurry because we don't want Edwin to miss his train. I can't tell you where he's going after he goes to New York, but I'm jealous. Okay, we have Kylie McIntosh saying she absolutely agrees. Preventing transit away from that area and meeting them with police and riot gear caused this. This was a huge tactical botch. It was not a botch. It was intentional. They wanted to escalate it so that they could do it. It's my opinion. So they could do everything else they did. They wanted to exercise. How do we control these people? They wanted it to go that far. Cham Green says the BPD cops, BPD being Baltimore Police Department, went to Mondawmin to start a riot. They were dressed for it, and their actions put the school children in a corner. There were no riots, people, until the police showed up in riot gear. We have been protesting and demonstrating for a week. Police looking like police, no problems, no violence. They showed up in riot gear, riot started. Imagine that. Something more to analyze there. And finally, Susan says she felt restricted in stating her opinion that the police caused this because she thought that she would be ridiculed. But she's seeing that many people are seeing this. People are not stupid, okay? People see right through this. So there it is, folks. For Edwin holding the camera, and for all the people who have joined us, and Raul Duke and everybody else, Larry Celebrity Cab Driver, who was there at the Battle of Mondawmin, played a big role in it. I am James MacArthur. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your support. Thank you for the many donations that were sent in that helped in a big way to allow Edwin and I to be able to stay out there embedded 16, 20 hours a day, sleeping in Baltimore in Spectator Force 1, so that we could be right there close to the action. Your help has been wonderful. We need you to continue to help us so that we can continue to bring truth to you, truth to the masses. We don't have the budget of CNN and Don Lemon. We don't have 15 bodyguards hanging out with us, watching our back. It's just us and you. So there you have it. I'm looking for my song to end with. And we are going to bring this up to a close. Thank you so much for listening. Just stay tuned in, stay linked up, spread the show. After the show closes, both the video and the audio, it'll be wrapped up in an archive, and you can listen to it from the beginning. So with that, I ask you, as I always do, to be well and be blessed and be more. Let's start that song from the beginning, right? There we go.
Raul Duke commented, "Fuck Don Lemon." Hashtag fuck Don Lemon.
Okay, hold on. Keep the camera rolling. I'm going to say one quick word to them, and we'll sign off from there. Okay, so that song is playing. I don't have to worry about this. I'm going through my mental checklist here. That's good. I feel like I'm missing something. Well, there you have it, folks. That was the first time we did a Baltimore Spectator radio program that was also simulcast on live stream. How was that, Ed?
Pretty good.
Cool. Let me give you the camera so you can sign off these people. We're going to get you to the train station. There he is, folks. There he is. Photojournalist extraordinaire, Edwin Torres. There it is. All right. See you guys later, folks. Sorry we got to be abrupt like this, but the man's got to go. We put a lot of time into this. Thank you so much. We're out of here.
It's so weird being behind